parm. I started by melting an onion into a pot. I'm now adding to the Dutch oven a little red wine. Hello. And a little tomato paste. I just sprinkle in a little fennel pollen or ground fennel. A little ground pepperoncini, about a half a teaspoon each. And some oregano, about a teaspoon. And I just stir that into the mix until I can smell it. You gotta cook out the tomato paste and bring the spices back to life, right? Then, all I do is add some crushed, ground, chopped, doesn't matter. Passata, some tomato, 2 to 3 cups. I just put in one 28-ounce can. I find that the pork is very moist, so I'm gonna try and just kind of go with God on this one and just do an egg mixture with milk or half and half and some breadcrumbs with rosemary. Slowly add in to the 3 eggs to coat 6 to 8 cutlets. I have 4 pork chops that we're gonna bread, and I have 2 pieces of thin sliced steak for my sister. She doesn't like pork. So we're gonna mix that together, and we always flavor every layer, but unfortunately the salt's on John's side of the counter, so I can't reach it. But I'll add a little salt to this. We have breadcrumb, panko or homemade breadcrumb mixed with fine breadcrumb. And for every 4 to 6 pieces of protein you're cooking, add 2 tablespoons of finely chopped fresh rosemary. Okay? And then to that, this is why we call it parm. The parm goes in the breadcrumb. The parm goes in the breadcrumb. 2 to 1. So if you have 2 cups of breadcrumb, use a cup of parm. I started with pork chops, boneless pork chops, okay? That's what these guys are. And for my sister, 2 little pieces of tornado or filet. This is beef filet. But you could use a really inexpensive, we usually use when I make beef Milanese, top round, very inexpensive, okay? So now we're gonna take a mallet, and when you pound, you don't cut in. It's a dropping motion and dragging. Drop and drag until they're about between 1/4 and 1/2 inch thick. We're gonna season on both sides with salt and pepper. And you cook them, and I have it heating up, shallow fry. About 1/4 inch of sunflower canola oil mixed with a little olive oil, okay? And you just cook them in batches as much as your pan can take. Now we're gonna take the pork cutlets that I kept warm in the oven. The next step is you take, of course, the quick marinara that we made, and you puddle that around. Save a little to pass at the table. Then, this is what every Italian-American restaurant, every person associates with parm, is melted mozzarella cheese, which I find so funny because it's not called chicken or beef or pork mozzarella, it's called parm. The really important part is to put in a lot of the parm. But I think it's fun and great, and who doesn't love more brown cheese on anything, right? The oven's on broil, and we'll just melt the cheese. Okay, guys, here we go. Here is the pork. Let's put a little dot. So cute. So cute. Little dot of sauce. And then pass more at the table.